Lee Taman watched the green lights blink on his control panel. The heat systems on the ship were working perfectly. He had been an engineer for 3 years now, fixing things that broke and making sure everyone stayed warm in the cold of space. The ship was called New Dawn, and it carried 200 people looking for new worlds to live on. "Taman, come look at this," called Dr. Kim Rena from across the room. She was pointing at her screen with excitement. Rena studied aliens and their cultures. She was always excited about finding new things in space. Taman walked over to see what she found. On her screen was a huge structure floating in the darkness. It looked like it was made of crystal, all shiny and clear. But something was wrong with it. The structure was dark in many places, and it was spinning slowly like it had no control. "Is anyone alive in there?" Taman asked. "I think so," Rena said, "but barely. The energy readings are very low. Whatever lives in there needs heat to survive, and they're running out of it." Captain Park Daewon came into the room. He was a tall man with kind eyes but a serious face. "What did you find?" he asked. Rena explained about the crystal structure and the dying energy signals. The captain listened carefully. "We should help them if we can," he said. "Send a message and see if they respond." For 2 hours, they tried to talk to whoever was inside the crystal structure. Finally, they heard something. It was like music, but sad and weak. The sounds came through their radio in waves. "I can translate some of it," Rena said, working fast on her computer. "They're asking for help. 2 beings are trapped inside. They're sisters, I think. Their power source is dying." Taman looked at the crystal structure on the screen. Even from far away, he could see it was beautiful, but it was also dying, just like the beings inside it. "How much time do they have?" and he asked. "Maybe 6 hours," Rena said. "After that, they'll go into deep sleep forever." Captain Daewon made his decision. "We're going to help them. Taman, can you take your repair equipment over there?" Taman nodded. He always carried a small fusion torch for fixing things. It made very hot fire that could melt metal and fix broken parts. Maybe it could help the aliens too. An hour later, Taman was floating in space near the crystal structure. His spacesuit kept him safe, and his tools hung from his belt. The crystal structure was much bigger up close. It was like a palace made of glass, but dark and cold. He found a way inside through an opening that looked like a door. Inside, everything was made of the same clear crystal. The walls, the floor, even the furniture looked like it was grown from crystal instead of built. In the center of the huge room, Taman found them. 2 beings lay on crystal beds, not moving. They looked like women, but their skin was clear like glass. Inside their bodies, Taman could see light moving slowly, like water flowing through tubes. The light was very dim and getting weaker. "Hello?" Taman said softly. "My name is Taman. I'm here to help." One of the beings opened her eyes. They were like blue stars in her clear face. She tried to speak, but only soft musical sounds came out. She was so weak she could barely move. Taman understood. They needed heat, and they needed it now. He took out his fusion torch and turned it on. The bright flame filled the room with warm light and heat. The effect was amazing. Both beings began to glow brighter. The one who had opened her eyes sat up slowly. The light inside her body moved faster and brighter. The second being also began to wake up. "Fire," the first being said in a voice like singing. "You brought us fire." Taman held the torch higher. "Yes, I brought fire. Are you okay now?" The first being stood up. She was tall and graceful, and now her crystal skin glowed with warm light. "I am Kira," she said. "This is my sister Naya. You have saved our lives with your fire." Naya sat up and looked at Taman with wonder. She looked younger than her sister, and her eyes sparkled with curiosity. "You are human," she said. "We have heard of humans but never met one." "I'm glad I could help," Taman said. "My ship is nearby. Do you need us to take you somewhere?" Kira and Naya looked at each other. They seemed to have a conversation without words, their crystal bodies flashing with different colors of light. "You shared your fire with us," Kira said finally. "Among our people, this creates a bond. a sacred bond that cannot be broken. What kind of bond? Taman asked, though he was starting to worry about the answer. A life bond, Naya said, her voice full of emotion. You gave us life when we were dying. Now we belong to you, and you belong to us. We cannot leave you, and we will protect you, always. Taman's heart began to beat faster. This was not what he had planned. He had just wanted to help two beings who were dying. Now they were talking about bonds and belonging to each other. But I don't own you, Taman said. You're free beings. You can go wherever you want. Kira smiled, and her whole face lit up, like a lamp. That's why the bond is so strong, she said. You gave freely, expecting nothing back. This makes the fire bond sacred and unbreakable. Our people will not understand, Naya said, looking worried. They will be angry that we made a fire bond with a human. Then don't tell them, Taman said. Come to my ship, get warm and healthy, and then I'll take you wherever you want to go. Both sisters shook their heads. You don't understand, Kira said gently. The fire bond means we stay with you. We go where you go. We protect what you protect. This is our way. Taman looked at these two beautiful, strange beings who had just turned his simple life upside down. He had wanted to help them, and he had. But now he was connected to them in ways he didn't understand. Will you at least come to my ship? He asked. We can talk about this where it's safe and warm. Kira and Naya looked at each other again, their crystal bodies flashing with light. Then they both nodded. Yes, Kira said. Where you go, we go. The fire bond has begun. As they prepared to leave the crystal structure, Taman wondered what he had gotten himself into. He had just wanted to help two dying beings. Now his life would never be the same. Captain Park Daewin stared at the two crystal beings standing in his meeting room. Kira and Naya glowed softly in the ship's lights, their clear skin showing the flowing energy inside their bodies. They stood close to Taman like guards protecting their most valuable treasure. Let me understand this, the captain said slowly. You two are refugees from your own people, and now you've made some kind of sacred bond with my engineer? The fire bond, Kira explained, her voice like music. Taman shared his life energy with us when we were dying. This creates a connection that cannot be broken. Dr. Kim Rena sat forward in her chair, fascinated. What exactly does this bond mean? What are your obligations to each other? Naya answered, her younger voice full of emotion. We must stay with Taman. We protect him, and he protects us. We share strength, share life, share danger. It is the most sacred connection our people know. Captain Daewin rubbed his forehead. This was becoming complicated very fast. And your people? What will they think about you bonding with a human? The sisters looked at each other with worry. They will not understand, Kira said quietly. Our people believe only crystal beings can make fire bonds. They will see this as breaking our most important laws. That's why we left home, Naya added. The rulers wanted to force us into bonds with males we did not choose. We refused and ran away. Now we are criminals to our own people. Taman had been quiet during this conversation, but now he spoke up. I didn't know about any of this when I helped them. I just saw two beings who were dying. That makes the bond even stronger, Kira said, looking at him with glowing eyes. You gave freely, with no thought of reward. Such pure giving creates the most powerful fire bonds. Engineer Choi Minho, Taman's best friend, had been listening from the corner. He walked forward and put his hand on Taman's shoulder. Are you okay with this? Having two alien sisters follow you around forever? Taman looked at Kira and Naya. They were beautiful and kind, but they were also completely changing his life. I'm still trying to understand it all, he said honestly. Perhaps we should contact your people, Captain Daewin suggested to the sisters. Explain what happened and see if we can work something out. Both sisters became very still, their glow dimming with fear. No, Kira said firmly. If they find us, they will take us back by force. They will punish us for making an illegal bond. And they will punish Taman too, Naya added. They might even hurt him to break the fire bond. Dr. Rena looked alarmed. They would hurt Taman? Why? Because he is human, Kira explained. Our people believe only crystal beings deserve fire bonds. They would see him as stealing something sacred. Captain Daywin made a decision. Then you'll stay here for now. But this is a military ship with a mission. You can't just be passengers forever. We can help, Naya said eagerly. We know crystal technology. We can make your ship better, stronger, faster. To prove her point, she walked over to a wall panel and placed her crystal hands against it. Her body began to glow brighter and light flowed from her hands into the ship's systems. Suddenly, all the lights in the room became brighter and steadier. Amazing, Dr. Rena breathed. You're directly interfacing with our electrical systems. Kira joined her sister at another panel. Soon, both sisters were connected to the ship's computer network. The whole room hummed with new energy. The ship's power efficiency just increased by 30%, Engineer Minho reported, staring at his instruments in shock. Captain Daywin looked impressed despite his concerns. That's actually very helpful. But what happens when we reach our destination? This ship is going home eventually. Then we go with Taman, Kira said simply. Wherever he goes, we go. Taman felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. These two beings had tied their entire futures to him. What if I don't want to go anywhere? What if I just want my old life back? The sisters looked hurt but not angry. The fire bond cannot be broken by wanting it to end, Naya said gently. But we would never force you to accept us. If you truly wish us gone, we will find a way to leave. But we would die without the bond, Kira added matter-of-factly. Our life energy is now connected to yours. Breaking the bond would kill all three of us. The room fell silent. Taman stared at the two sisters who had just told him that rejecting them would mean death for everyone. There has to be another way, he said desperately. Some way to keep you alive without this bond. There might be, Kira said thoughtfully. But it would require finding new sources of thermal energy. Constant heat and light, stronger than anything. On our homeworld, Dr. Rena spoke up excitedly. What if we could build something? Some kind of thermal generator designed specifically for your needs. It would need to be very powerful, Naya said. And it would need to produce the exact frequency of thermal energy that our bodies use. Most heat sources don't work for us. Taman looked at his fusion torch still hanging from his belt. My torch worked. Why? Because it burns with the same energy signature as our sun, Kira explained. Pure fusion fire, clean and bright. It's exactly what our bodies need to survive. Engineer Minho's eyes lit up. I could build a bigger version. A thermal generator based on fusion technology. If the sisters help with the design, we would be happy to help, Naya said eagerly. Anything to give Taman more choices. Captain Daywin stood up. Then that's what we'll do. We'll work on building this generator while we continue our mission. But I want to know more about your people and why they're hunting you. The sisters exchanged worried looks. There are things about our people you should know, Kira said reluctantly. Things that might put your entire species in danger. What kind of things? The captain asked sharply. Our leaders, Naya said quietly. They have been watching humanity for some time. They know about your expansion into space, your new colonies. And? Captain Daywin prompted. Kira took a deep breath. They plan to take your thermal energy for themselves. Your stars, your fusion reactors, even the heat from your cities. They believe they need it more than humans do. The room went deadly quiet. Finally, Dr. Rena spoke. You're saying your people plan to invade human space? Not invade exactly, Naya said. More like harvest. They want to drain the thermal energy from human worlds and leave them cold and dead. Taman felt sick. How many people know about this plan? Only the high rulers, Kira said. But once they discover we told you, they will move faster. They will try to silence us and anyone who knows. Captain Daywin's face had gone hard and military. How long do we have? Maybe a few months, Kira estimated. Maybe less if they find us first. Taman looked around the room at his friends and crewmates. By saving 2 alien sisters, he had accidentally learned about a threat to all humanity. Now the firebond didn't seem like his biggest problem anymore. "We have to warn people," he said. "We have to stop this." Both sisters nodded gravely. "That's why we will stay with you," Kira said. "We have chosen humanity over our own people. We will help you fight them." "Even if it means becoming traitors to your entire species?" Captain Daewon asked. Naya looked at Taman with glowing eyes. "He gave us fire when we were dying. He gave us life and freedom. Now we give our loyalty to him and his people." The fire bond, Taman realized, had become much more than a personal connection. It had become the foundation of an alliance that might save both species. 3 weeks had passed since Kira and Naya joined the crew of the New Dawn. The sisters had kept their promise and improved the ship's systems beyond anyone's dreams. The engines ran twice as efficiently, the life support systems were perfect, and the weapons were more powerful than military standards. Taman was checking the new thermal generator that Engineer Minho had built with the sisters' help. It was working perfectly, producing the exact kind of energy that Kira and Naya needed to survive. The fire bond was still there, but now the sisters had other options for staying alive. "The thermal output is stable," Naya reported, her hands glowing as she interfaced with the generator. "This could keep a dozen of our people alive indefinitely." "Good," Taman said, though he felt uneasy. "But let's hope we never need to find out." His unease proved correct when alarms started blaring throughout the ship. Captain Park Daewon's voice came over the communication system. "All crew to battle stations. We have 3 unidentified ships approaching fast." Taman ran to the bridge with the sisters close behind him. Through the main view screen, he could see 3 crystal ships that looked like deadly spears made of light. They were beautiful, but terrifying, glowing with contained energy. "Those are hunter ships," Kira said, her voice tight with fear. "The High Council sent them to bring us back. Can we outrun them?" Captain Daewon asked. Naya shook her head. "Crystal ships are much faster than yours. They will catch us within the hour." Dr. Kim Rena was monitoring communications. "I'm receiving a transmission from the lead ship. They're demanding we surrender the fugitives immediately." "Tell them no," Taman said firmly. "Kira and Naya chose to stay here freely." "I don't think they care about free choice," Captain Daewon replied grimly. "They're powering weapons." The lead crystal ship sent a focused beam of energy that struck the New Dawn shields. The whole ship shook, and lights flickered throughout the bridge. "Their weapons are designed to drain thermal energy," Kira explained. "They want to disable your ship without destroying it." "Why not just destroy us?" Engineer Minho asked. "Because they need Taman alive," Naya said quietly. "The fire bond can only be broken by the one who created it. If Taman dies, we die too, and they get nothing." Another energy beam hit the ship, this one stronger than the first. The shields were weakening fast. "Sir," Lieutenant Yoon Hana called. "From the weapons station, should I return fire?" Captain Daewon hesitated. Attacking the crystal ships would start a war between humans and the crystal people. But letting them take Kira and Naya might lead to something even worse. Before he could decide, the sisters made the choice for him. They walked to the center of the bridge and began to glow brighter than ever before. Energy flowed from their bodies into the ship's systems. "What are you doing?" Taman asked. "Giving you a chance to escape," Kira said. Her crystal body was now so bright it was hard to look at directly. The ship's systems responded to their energy input. The engines roared to life with power they had never had before. The shields became stronger than military-grade protection. Even the weapons charged to levels that shouldn't have been possible. "Incredible," Lieutenant Hana breathed. "All systems are operating at 300% capacity." But Taman could see what the effort was costing the sisters. They were pouring their life energy into the ship and it was draining them rapidly. "Stop," he ordered. "You're killing yourselves." "Not killing," Naya gasped, her glow starting to flicker. "Just sharing everything we have. The fire bond works both ways, remember?" Taman understood. Just as he had shared his fire with them when they were dying, they were now sharing their energy with him and his ship when they were in danger. The bond made them all stronger together. The crystal ships fired again, but this time the New Dawn's shields absorbed the attack easily. Captain Daywin saw his chance. "All power to engines," he ordered. "Let's see how fast we can go." The ship leaped forward at incredible speed, leaving the crystal ships behind. But Taman knew they wouldn't give up that easily. "They'll follow us," Kira warned, her voice weak from the energy transfer. "And they'll call for more ships. Soon there will be dozens hunting us." "Then we need allies," Captain Daywin said. "Human allies who can help us fight back." Dr. Rena looked up from her communications panel. "I've been trying to contact Earth Command, but something's wrong. All the long-range communication channels are being jammed." "That's not possible," Engineer Minho said. "Our communications use quantum encryption. Nothing should be able to jam them." Naya and Kira looked at each other with growing alarm. "Unless," Naya said slowly, "the invasion has already begun." The bridge fell silent as everyone realized what she meant. While they had been running from 3 hunter ships, the Crystal people might have already attacked human space. "How would we know?" Taman asked. "We monitor the nearest human colonies," Captain Daywin decided. "If they're under attack, we'll see the signs." Lieutenant Hana worked her controls, scanning for human settlements in nearby star systems. What she found made everyone's heart sink. 3 human colonies in this sector, she reported. All of them are dark. No power signatures, no communications, no life signs. "They drained them," Kira whispered in horror. "They took all the thermal energy and left the worlds cold and dead." Taman felt anger building in his chest. These were human worlds, with human families and children. Now they were gone because the Crystal people wanted their heat. "How many people?" he asked quietly. Colony reports showed about 50,000 total population, Dr. Rena said, her voice shaking. 50,000 people. Dead because aliens wanted to steal their warmth. Taman's hands clenched into fists. "We have to stop them," he said. "How?" Captain Daywin asked. "We're one ship against an entire species." "Not an entire species," Kira corrected. "Only the rulers and their followers. Many of our people don't know about the invasion. Many would oppose it if they knew the truth." "Then we tell them the truth," Taman said. "We find a way to reach your people and show them what their rulers are doing." Naya looked doubtful. "The rulers control all communication. No one would believe us even if we could reach them." "What about proof?" Dr. Rena suggested. "What if we could show them the dead human worlds?" "The rulers would claim humans attacked first," Kira said. "They would say the thermal draining was self-defense." Taman thought hard about the problem. "How do you prove that mass murder is wrong to people who have been told it's necessary for survival?" "What if we could show them another way?" he said finally. "What if we could prove that humans and Crystal people can share thermal energy without anyone dying?" He gestured to the thermal generator that was still keeping the sisters alive. "We built that together, humans and Crystal people working as partners. What if we could build more? What if we could show your people that cooperation works better than conquest?" Both sisters stared at him with growing hope. "A thermal sharing station," Naya breathed. "A place where both species could benefit from shared energy." "It would have to be big," Kira said thoughtfully. "Visible from space, impossible to ignore. And it would have to work perfectly to prove the concept." Captain Daywin was nodding slowly. "A demonstration project. Show both species that partnership is better than war. But first we have to survive long enough to build it," Lieutenant Hana pointed out. "Those hunter ships are still following us, and more are coming." Taman looked at Kira and Naya, who had risked everything to warn humanity about the invasion. They had chosen him over their own people, chosen cooperation over conquest. "Then we fight," he said simply. "We fight for the chance to build something better." The sisters smiled, their crystal bodies glowing with renewed hope. The fire bond had started with a simple act of kindness, but now it had become something much larger. It had become the spark that might save both species from destroying each other. But first, they had to stay alive long enough to light that bigger fire. The hunters found them 2 days later. Taman was working on expanding the thermal generator when the alarm sounded again. This time it wasn't 3 ships. It was 12 crystal vessels arranged in a perfect hunting formation around the new dawn. "This is High Commander Velnara of the Crystal Fleet," came a voice over the communications system. The voice was cold and musical, like ice breaking in a frozen river. "You are harboring criminals and enemies of the Crystal Empire. Surrender them immediately or face destruction." Captain Park Daewon looked at Kira and Naya, who stood beside Taman on the bridge. Both sisters were glowing with determination, not fear. "Tell them no," Kira said firmly. "We will not return to slavery." "This is Captain Daewon of the human vessel New Dawn," the captain replied over the radio. "The beings you call criminals requested asylum on our ship. They are free beings and can choose where they want to live." High Commander Velnara's laugh was like breaking glass. "Humans do not understand the sacred bonds that govern civilized beings. Return our property, or we will take them by force." "Property?" Taman stepped forward, angry. "They're not property, they're people with their own minds and hearts. You are the human who corrupted them with an illegal fire bond," Velnara said, her voice turning deadly. "You will break this bond immediately and surrender yourself for judgment." Dr. Kim Rena was monitoring the crystal ships. "Sir, they're charging weapons. All 12 ships are targeting our hull." Taman felt the sisters move closer to him. Through the fire bond, he could sense their fear, not for themselves, but for him and the human crew. "We could fight," Naya said quietly. "Give our energy to your ship like before." 12 ships are too many," Kira replied. "We would drain ourselves completely and still lose." Engineer Choi Minho was checking his instruments frantically. "The new thermal generator is at full power. If we could somehow get it to the crystal ships—" "What do you mean?" Taman asked. "Think about it," Minho explained excitedly. "Their ships run on thermal energy just like the sisters do. What if we could overload their systems?" Naya's eyes went wide with understanding. "A thermal pulse. If we could generate enough pure fusion fire and direct it at their ships." "It wouldn't destroy them," Kira added, catching on to the plan. "But it would overload their energy systems, force them to shut down temporarily." Captain Daewon looked skeptical. "Can we do that without destroying our own ship?" "Only if someone interfaces directly with the generator," Kira said. "Someone would have to guide the energy pulse manually, controlling every aspect of its frequency and direction. That someone would probably die from the energy feedback," Naya added quietly. Taman knew immediately who would have to do it. The fire bond made him the only human who could safely interface with crystal technology. The sisters could do it too, but they were needed to channel the energy. "I'll do it," he said. "No," both sisters said at once. "If you die, the fire bond breaks and we die too," Kira explained. "And if we don't try this, all 3 of us die anyway when they blast us apart," Taman replied. "At least this way we have a chance." High Commander Velnara's voice came over the radio again. "You have 30 seconds to comply. After that, we will disable your ship and take what belongs to us." Captain Daewon made his decision. "Do it. All hands. Brace for energy. Surge." Taman ran to the thermal generator with the sisters beside him. The machine was humming with power, ready to provide clean energy for years. Now they were going to turn it into a weapon. "Place your hands here," Naya instructed, pointing to 2 crystal panels on the generator's surface. "We'll channel our energy through you and into the pulse." Taman put his hands on the panels. Immediately, he felt the fire bond activate stronger than ever before. Energy flowed from both sisters into his body, and then into the generator. It felt like holding lightning in his bare hands. "Focus on the lead ship," Kira said, her crystal body blazing with light. "If we can disable the commander, the others might retreat." Through the ship's systems, Taman could sense the 12 crystal vessels surrounding them. Each one was a masterpiece of crystal technology. beautiful and deadly. He could feel their thermal signatures, their energy patterns, their weak points. "Firing," he announced, and released the pulse. Pure fusion fire erupted from the new dawn in a focused beam that struck High Commander Velnara's ship. The crystal vessel lit up like a star as its systems absorbed more energy than they were designed to handle. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The command ship's weapons powered down as safety systems activated to prevent an overload explosion. Its engines went dark, leaving it drifting in space. "Again," Kira gasped, pouring more of her life energy into the generator. "Hit the next one." Taman guided another pulse at the second crystal ship, then a third, then a fourth. Each successful. Hit disabled another hunter vessel, but the effort was costing all three of them dearly. Through the firebond, Taman could feel the sisters weakening. They were giving everything they had to power his attacks. Soon they would have nothing left. "Stop," he ordered. "You're killing yourselves." "4 ships left," Naya said, her glow now very dim. "We can disable 4 more." "Not if it kills you," Taman replied firmly. He pulled his hands away from the generator panels, breaking the energy flow. 8 of the 12 crystal ships were now drifting powerless in space. The remaining 4 still had weapons and engines, but they seemed hesitant to attack after seeing what happened to their companions. Captain Daewin opened a communication channel to the crystal ships. "This is your last warning. Leave now or we'll disable the rest of you too." For a long moment there was silence. Then High Commander Velnara's voice came through, weaker than before but still defiant. "This is not over, human. The crystal Empire will not forget this insult. We will return with a full battle fleet. When you do," Captain Daewin replied, "we'll be ready for you." The 4 remaining crystal ships gathered their disabled companions and began to retreat. Within an hour, they were gone, leaving the new dawn alone in space. Taman collapsed into a chair, exhausted from channeling so much energy. The sisters sank down beside him, their crystal bodies barely glowing. Through the firebond, he could feel their weakness but also their satisfaction. "We did it," Naya whispered. "We actually fought them off." "For now," Kira corrected. "But Velnara was right. They'll be back with more ships. Many more." Dr. Rena was analyzing the energy readings from the battle. The thermal pulses were incredibly effective. If we could build more generators, mount them on other ships, we could teach humans to fight crystal ships, Engineer Minho finished excitedly. "Level the playing field," Captain Daewin was already planning. "We need to get this information to Earth Command, show them what we've learned." Earth Command might be gone, Taman reminded him. "If the invasion is as big as the sisters think, Earth might already be under attack." The bridge fell quiet as everyone considered this possibility. If Earth had fallen, then the new dawn and her crew might be among the last free humans in the galaxy. Then we find other human ships, and Captain Daewin decided. We share what we've learned and build an alliance, fight back against the invasion. Kira looked up at Taman with tired but determined eyes. "The firebond has made you a target," she said. "Every crystal ship in the fleet will be hunting you now." "Let them come," Taman replied. "They started this war when they decided to murder innocent people for their heat. Now they'll learn what happens when humans fight back." Naya smiled weakly. "That's why we chose you," she said. "Humans never give up. Even when the odds are impossible, you keep fighting." Through the view screen, Taman could see stars scattered across the darkness of space. Somewhere among those stars, human colonies were under attack. Families were dying. Worlds were going cold and dark. But now humanity had new weapons and new allies. The fire bond that started with a simple act of kindness had become something more powerful than any weapon. It had become hope. The crystal ships would return probably sooner than anyone wanted. But when they did, they would find humans ready to fight back with fire of their own. 6 months later, Taman stood on the bridge of the new dawn watching something that should have been impossible. Through the view screen, he could see a massive space station that hadn't existed a year ago. The station was beautiful, part human, steel and crystal alien artistry, all working together in perfect harmony. Thermal Station Alpha is fully operational, reported Dr. Kim Rena with pride in her voice. We're generating enough clean fusion energy to power 20 human colonies and keep 5,000 crystal people alive indefinitely. The station had been Taemin's idea, but it had taken hundreds of humans and crystal people working together to make it real. It floated in space like a small sun, producing pure thermal energy that both species could use. Any word from the Crystal Empire? Captain Park Daewon asked. Kira, who was interfacing with the station's communication systems, nodded. 3 more crystal worlds have declared independence from the Empire. They want to join the Thermal Alliance instead of supporting the invasion. This was the best news they'd had in months. The Thermal Alliance was what humans and friendly crystal people called their partnership. It had started with just the New Dawn and 2 refugee sisters, but it had grown into something much bigger. That makes 12 worlds total, Naya added, happily. Her crystal body glowed brighter than it had in months. The abundant thermal energy from the station had made both sisters healthier and stronger. Nearly half the Crystal Empire now opposes the invasion. Taemin felt satisfaction through the fire bond, but also worry. What about High Commander Velnara? Is she still hunting us? Oh yes, Kira replied, her glow dimming slightly. She's been promoted to Supreme Commander of the Imperial Fleet. She has over 200 warships under her command now. 200 ships, Captain Daewon whistled. That's a lot of firepower. But they're not united anymore, Naya pointed out. The crystal people are fighting among themselves. Some support the Empire, some support the Alliance, and some just want the war to end. Engineer Choi Minho looked up from his instruments. Speaking of the war, we have incoming ships, but I don't think they're hostile. Through the view screen, Taemin could see a fleet of human vessels approaching the station. These weren't military ships. They were colony transports, cargo haulers, and exploration vessels like the New Dawn. All of them were flying toward Thermal Station Alpha. Those are refugees, Dr. Rena realized. Humans fleeing from the Crystal invasion. Captain Daewon opened communications with the approaching fleet. This is Captain Daewon of Thermal Station Alpha. How can we help you? Captain, this is Admiral Chen Wei of the Colonial Defense Force, came a tired voice over the radio. We have 40,000 refugees from the outer colonies. The Crystal Empire hit us 3 weeks ago. Drained 17 worlds completely. 17 worlds. Taemin felt sick. That meant hundreds of thousands of people dead, their worlds turned into frozen rocks. We can take your refugees, Captain Daewon replied immediately. The station has room and resources for everyone. Thank you, Captain. We heard rumors about a place where humans and crystal people work together. Most of us thought it was just wishful thinking. It's real, Taemin said, stepping forward to the communication panel. We've proven that both species can survive and thrive together. No one has to die for thermal energy. Over the next few hours, the refugee fleet docked with Thermal Station Alpha. Taemin watched families come aboard. Mothers carrying children, elderly people helped by younger relatives, injured colonists supported by friends. All of them had lost their homes to the Crystal invasion. But something wonderful happened when the refugees met Kira and Naya. Instead of fear or hatred, most of the humans showed curiosity and hope. The sisters had worked so hard to help build the station that even the newest arrivals could see they were allies, not enemies. This is amazing, said a young refugee named Park Gina. She was a colonial engineer who had lost her home but not her optimism. You've actually made it work, humans and crystal people living in peace. It wasn't easy, Taemin admitted. There's still a lot of fear and mistrust on both sides. But it's possible, Naya added, her crystal body glowing with warmth. We've proven that cooperation is better than conquest. Admiral Chen Wei, an older woman with steel-gray hair and determined eyes, met with Captain Daewon privately. We need to talk about the war, she said. Supreme Commander Velnara is planning something big. Our scouts report massive crystal fleets gathering at the edge systems. How massive? Captain Daewon asked. Over 500 ships. Maybe more. She's planning to attack Earth itself. The room went silent. Earth was the heart of human civilization, home to 12 billion people. If the Crystal Empire succeeded in draining Earth's thermal energy, humanity would be finished. When? Taemin asked. Soon. Maybe weeks. The crystal ships are faster than ours. Once they start moving, we won't have much time to prepare. Kira and Naya looked at each other with shared worry. Earth's thermal signature is enormous, Kira said. If Velnara could drain it completely, she'd have enough energy to power the Crystal Empire for centuries, Naya finished. Then we stop her, Taemin said simply. Admiral Chen looked skeptical. With what? The Colonial Defense Force has maybe 50 ships left. The Crystal Fleet has 10 times that number. We have something better than numbers, Captain Daewin said. We have the thermal pulse technology, and we have allies. He was right. Over the past 6 months, Taemin and the sisters had shared their thermal pulse knowledge with every human ship they met. Now dozens of vessels were equipped with weapons that could disable crystal ships. More importantly, they had crystal allies too. The independent crystal worlds had their own fleets, smaller than the empires but still powerful, and many of them were angry about the invasion. We need to contact everyone, Taemin decided. Every human ship, every independent crystal world, everyone in the Thermal Alliance. If we work together, we might have a chance. And if we don't? Admiral Chen asked. Then we all die fighting, Taemin replied. But we don't give up. Humans never give up. Over the next week, Thermal Station, Alpha became the center of the largest military alliance in galactic history. Human ships arrived from across the sector. Crystal vessels from the independent worlds came too, their crews eager to fight against the empire that had oppressed them. The most surprising ally was Elder Velthara, High Commander Velnara's own sister. She arrived in a massive crystal dreadnought with 50 ships of her own. I cannot stand by while my sister destroys innocent worlds, she told Taemin when they met. The crystal people were meant to be guardians of thermal energy, not thieves of it. Your sister won't be happy about your defection, Kira warned. Elder Velthara's crystal body flashed with determined light. My sister chose the path of conquest. I choose the path of cooperation. Let her be angry. I will not help her commit genocide. When the final count was made, the Thermal Alliance had gathered nearly 300 ships. Not as many as the Crystal Empire, but enough to make a real fight of it. The battle will be at Earth, Admiral Chen announced to the assembled fleet commanders. That's where Velnara is heading, and that's where we'll make our stand. Taemin looked at Kira and Naya, who stood beside him as they had for the past year. The fire bond that connected them was stronger than ever, but it had grown beyond just the three of them. It had become a bond between entire species. Are you ready? He asked the sisters. We've been ready since the day you gave us fire, Kira replied. Whatever happens, Naya added, we're together, and together we can face anything. As the Thermal Alliance fleet prepared to depart for Earth, Taemin felt hope burning in his chest like a small sun. The war wasn't over. In fact, the biggest battle was still to come. But humans and crystal people had proven they could work together, fight together, and build something better together. The fire bond had started with one human sharing his flame with 2 dying aliens. Now it had grown into something that might save both species from destroying each other. Supreme Commander Velnara was coming with her invasion fleet, ready to drain Earth's energy and leave humanity extinct. But she would find more than a defenseless world waiting for her. She would find the fire of friendship, burning bright enough to light up the entire galaxy.